Beautiful day.
It is.
You know, my younger brother sent me a photo. I guess they still call them photos of Rick and Morty.
Oh,
And there's a scene on, there's a scene on Rick and Morty, and he was like, "Hey, where is this from? What movie is it from?" I couldn't get it. I was searching my memory bank, and I couldn't get it. And then I'm like, "Just tell me what it is. Just tell me what it is." And it was from the movie Kroll. Do you remember Kroll?
I do.
Yes.
I mean, I haven't seen it in 40 years, but yeah.
I remember the scene from Kroll where the Cyclops avoided his death. And he said,
Please talk.
yeah, so there's a Cyclops in the movie Kroll, and he goes off on a quest with them. And he says that the thing about Cyclops is we can see into the future, so we can always see when we're gonna die. And he said, if we avoid our death, because we can see when we're gonna die, then our death will come and it will be painful. Needless to say, no spoilers, but
He has a painful death.
he did, and it was beyond painful.
I do not remember anything about that. I mean, I remember it used to be on cable, like on repeat.
Yes, I want to say, I think Lisette Anthony was in that as the princess who was captured or something. Oh my gosh.
What
Oh
else?
my gosh. You remember all of those movies that came out in the 80s that they had miniseries, which, by the way, America, go back to doing miniseries. You know, they don't do miniseries.
You're right. We don't do that. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Well, except probably on Netflix or something where they have six
Yeah, but that's not the
episodes.
type of miniseries. You
Yeah.
remember they would do the miniseries and it would be over 2 weeks or 3
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah.
And my grandmother, she would watch it,
Please make sure your phone is off.
or whatever, and you could see
Next
the
time you go
hour
off, you're gonna be
was
asking.
getting to get closed off, right? And she said, "Oh, curses, this is gonna be a continuation." And then it's to be continued. We're like, "Man, we gotta make sure we're here on Monday." Young people will never understand that there was no recording,
Right,
no pause.
right.
You
You had
can't
to watch
pause.
it. You had to catch it at that hour.
You have
Yeah.
to catch it, otherwise it's going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you got home 10 minutes late or whatever, I missed
Yeah,
the start.
It's like. All right, everyone, I'm gonna call the docket. When I call the docket, you need to let me know you're here. If you don't answer, I'm gonna assume you're not here, and a warrant may be issued for your arrest.
You don't.
So when I call the docket, please speak up. Sergio Serta. Sergio Serta.
He's here, Judge with counsel.
All right, he's moving in slow time. Jose Torres. Jose Torres. Joanna Reyes. Ooh, this is getting dicey. Is this the right docket for the 12th? Tyrone Laird is in custody. James Cole, custody. Mary Jessie Diaz. Brandon Wright. Jose Sanchez, you should be in impact court. Wilfredo Salinas. Orlando Adina, impact. Juan Carranza, custody. Michelle Esquivel, impact. You should be in impact court. It's on the second floor. Above the top, it will say impact court. And if they say that you're late, you can let them know you were here. Rogia Bergen Savala is in custody, and he should be in impact. April Rodriguez. Thank you.
Please stand up when they call your name.
Cynthia Gage, custody. Arnulfo Cervantes, custody. Abel Martinez. Thank you. Myra Gallegos, you should be in impact court. Anthony Woodard. Thank you. Clarissa Shepherd. Yes, you should be in impact court. It's on the second floor. Rogelio Lara. Kevin Carell.
Laura should be an impact court judge.
I'm sorry, who?
Laura.
Rogelio Laura, you should be in impact. Miguel Santiago Colon.
Miguel Santiago Colon. Troy Harris, custody. Stephen Rose, you should be in impact. Kevin Owens, impact court. Adrian Delaterio, custody. Octavia Day, impact court. Isaac Alcorta, impact. Larry Holmes is in custody. Is that the name of the boxer? Thank you. See, you're with me. The other people don't know. Amanda Drummond. Jesse Arriaga. All right, thank you. If I could see the file. Eric Kelly.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you made it just in time.
Sorry about that. I was on the wrong floor.
Oh, that's okay. Jose Ruiz, custody. Tawana Adams. Thank you. Christopher Acosta. Thank you. Tyler Ashbaugh. All right, is there anyone who came in late or your name was not called? Yes. Joanne, what?
In the beginning, Judge. This is on page 21.
Thank you.
First row.
All right, first row? Yes,
First row.
first row. Yes, anyone else? Came in late or your name was not called? All right, everyone, these are the rules of the court. To my left is the court reporter. She has her equipment there. Do not stand next to her. Do not touch her stuff. If you touch it, you will have bought it. If you damage it, you will have bought it. If you break it, you will have bought it. And it's over $10,000. When we're on the record, do not talk behind her. Just ask the deputy to move your inmate down to the end. When we're on the record, do not approach the court, coordinator, or the clerk. How do you know we're on the record? Because I will have called the style of the case. Attorneys, inmates come from that door. Do not block that door. Do not block the deputy's line of vision. If something happens and you end up getting run over or you end up getting injured, I will personally write an affidavit saying that I warned you all not to block that door or the deputy's line of vision. To the back is where the probation officer is and will be. Do not crowd around her desk. Do not put your items on her desk. Do not sit on her desk. That is her desk. If you do any of those things, I will come to your office at an inconvenient time and sit on your desk and put items on your desk. So do not do that. Do not approach the court unless you have conferred with your client and conferred with the state. If your client is in custody, yes, they need to be brought out. The other thing is, if you have a plea, that paperwork must be turned in by 11:15. Otherwise, you're going to have to come back in the afternoon. Today is Monday. I know it's going to be a great day because the weather is nice. It's windy, but it's nice. I know we thought we would be retired, but we're not. That's okay, because guess what? We're still alive. So confer with a smile on your face and kindness in your heart. Confer. John, I do know that the other person who has not seen that movie or heard of that movie is the same person who has never seen Princess Bride or The Warriors.
Oh,
I've seen the Warriors, but I haven't seen the Princess.
Okay, shame on you.
Yeah,
Shame on you, sir.
yeah.
But you have seen Kroll.
Yeah, when I was,
Yeah, he's never seen Kroll.
In this hallowed courtroom.
yeah, it,
You're on.
that movie will not enrich your life, I'll just tell you.
It will.
You talking about Warriors?
No, the Warriors definitely enrich your
Yes.
life. Kroll will not.
Kroll will help you during the zombie apocalypse.
You're ridiculous.
And you know what? And you have to, during the zombie apocalypse, we may have to go on quests. That was a quest.
My concern and my problem is that you seem to want the zombie apocalypse to happen. I think that is like the culmination of all your dreams would be if the zombie apocalypse finally happens.
Well,
All this planning you've been doing.
If it were to happen, you know what would end up? You would run to me and say, Stephanie, the zombie apocalypse is upon us. And you know what? I would just probably be waking up. Huh? What's going on? I missed it. Now, I don't have a bunker, but I do have plans.
Okay.
Oh, she, not just,
Yeah.
very well thought out.
Oh, yes.
This is not something she just thought about.
Mm-mm. You know,
YouTube channel.
what, yeah, but you know what? They actually have
It's just a status.
this new disease. I can't remember it, but it's one, some sort of new viral infection or bacterial infection that puts holes in your lungs, And so it's been moving through the states. Michigan, yes.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
so are other people ready for that? I don't know. And then, they start rationing penicillin in some states.
It does. Yeah, you're right.
What can we do? What can we do?
I see you more, please.
Hello.
Oh.
Hi, morning.
Yeah, just, yeah.
Hey, good morning, John. What's happening? I saw. Yeah, it's naturally. Yeah, no, that is. I can feel it. I can see that my grandma had something explode on me. I guess the six was really good. Yes.
Hey, Bert, how are you? It's, yes.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. And Judge, can I talk to you before you call my client out?
Sure.
Chris Acosta.
Mhm.
He went Thursday, so she'll be there noon time. That's a good one.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
my guy thinks-
all righty. All right, Christopher Acosta. Oh, and I'll let you know when we're on the record. That way you'll be ready. All right, Mr. Acosta. So I have received a violation report about your not being on a device, but your attorney has told me that that's been taken care of.
Yes, ma'am. It's just that every now and then they give me a hard time for a machine that the cops confiscated back in 2013.
Mhm.
That's why they
He
tried.
had one years ago.
Okay.
And so when he goes to, on this one, they were like, oh, you owe us all this money from 10 years ago, even though the machine was taken from his car by the police.
Yeah.
And where's the machine? See, I'm curious
They
now.
took it. That's why I'm gonna try to get a police report from back in the day
Mhm.
that where it shows that they confiscated.
You can see the balance on the
Mhm.
receipt that I provided you, Judge,
Yes.
and that's an old balance. That's not on the current device.
All right, state. We have an issue that was 10 years in the making, 10 or 15 years in the making.
James Phillips.
No, wrong defendant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Christopher Acosta. He said approximately 10 years ago, the police confiscated his device for DWI, ignition interlock. They never returned it, I guess. So now the ignition interlock people are saying he owes for that device. So I don't know where that device would be, or if anybody knows where that device would be. I recognize problems and I put them in other people's laps if I can't solve them. So I don't know where that device would be, but maybe if somebody knew, had the police report or something.
That's what I was thinking I'm gonna go and get And they were saying something about they can waive it, but
Surely they didn't auction off the ignition interlock with the vehicle.
10 years ago, Judge, anything could happen 10 years ago.
Anything is possible. Maybe Snake Plissken is driving around with it.
Ooh,
That's a movie reference.
I don't even know.
All right, so they're saying that you owe a balance. What we can do is we can reset this or either see if pretrial service officers can zoom in and we can solve this problem right now.
Sure, whatever, however.
All right, Ms.
We'd rather
Ferguson.
not have to pay this old balance, right?
Can we, Ms. Ferguson? I don't know if pretrial services is the person who needs to zoom or if the ignition interlock people are, but we will find out. Can you have the Fabian Ortiz zoom in? So we'll have your pretrial services officers zoom in. And then if it needs to be the ignition interlock people, we'll have them zoom in probably on another date to solve this issue.
okay, thank you.
All right, so just have a seat. We'll get with you. Yes. Thank you. All right, Eric Kelly. Hello, Mr. Kelly.
How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
How you doing, Your Honor?
All right. So I see that there are some cases that are unindicted. So I'm assuming we're going to have to wait for those.
I'm on all of them but that one. I think Ms. Green made the bond on that one. I'd like to confer with her.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson, on this case, if I can have a 45-day reset, that should make sure that everything is done. So when we come back next time, we'll be looking at discovery.
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good.
Okay.
I give you April 1st.
All right, we'll be back on April 1st. Once you sign the reset form, your excuse.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
Your
you.
Honor.
You're welcome. And Norma, there's someone on the Zoom link by phone.
It might be either, there's two people that were gonna show by Zoom judge. It
Mhm.
might be Tyler Cash on this on the week,
Okay,
or it might be, Brandon Ryan.
okay. All right, let me see who this is. All right, the person who's on Zoom, if you could start your video. Oh. Yeah, it's Monday. Could you unmute, please?
Oh, I'm so
What
sorry.
is-
I didn't realize I was muted, Your Honor.
That's okay. What is your name?
Tyler Ashbaugh.
All right, Mr. Ashbaugh, while you're in bed on Zoom.
Oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am.
No, that doesn't answer my question. My question is, why are you in bed on Zoom?
I was just waiting to be let into the courtroom, and then I was going to go sit down in my dining room, ma'am.
No, you were not, because you were all relaxed when I asked you who you were and you were just chilling on the bed. Here's the thing. You have a privilege for appearing on Zoom. You are
Yes,
not
ma'am.
to be in bed. This is not, romper room time or anything of that nature. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you in Bear County?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so try that again and your Zoom privileges will be permanently revoked. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we're waiting for your attorney. I'm going to put you in the waiting room.
Yes, ma'am.
He's on the line.
Yeah, okay. I'm making sure that he's here.
Yes.
I'm here from Mr. Nettles on Mr. Ashbaugh.
Could I see the file on that one, please? Oh, I thought this guy said his name was Brandon.
We're here first, Tyler Ashwell.
Right, and then you put the other one, second round. No.
All right, unmute, please. Are you Tyler?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so state. This is a motion to modify its family violence. Have you all conferred?
We have, Your Honor, I believe Mr. Nelson conferred with Mr. Ashwell. Motion to modify, this is still allows.
All right, if you all want to confer. All right, Mr. Ashbaugh, I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room.
No, I. An 18. Here this morning. It's fresh in my memory. I'm like,
Is it?
It actual total service.
Ah, okay. Yes, that's you guys then.
No problem.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Zach,
Yes, Judge.
this is supposed to be given to you. You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can't really talk about what happened.
All right, Tawana Adams.
Yes.
Judge, this is a compliance hearing. You should have a supplemental report.
Okay, all right, let me take a look at the supplement. There's no gum showing up here.
There's no. Yes, that's.
No problem. All right. So I have an issue.
What's your issue, Judge?
All right, so what are the ages of the grandchildren?
My grandchildren are I have 11 of them. 14, 15.
No, I mean the ones that on here it says that you're living with.
Oh, they're 14, 11, 9, and 12. Oh, no, 13. I take it back, 13.
All right, I thought these were young children. That's why I wanted her to be brought in.
Okay.
So that was my concern. So I understand that she's lost her home and her daughter is allowing her to live with her.
Yes, sure.
So
She
my,
did notify me that her daughter is here with her today as well.
all right. So my main concern, and where's the daughter?
The one that I live with, that's my 18-year-old right now. She came with me. And she's the one about to graduate, but my 32-year-old, she's at work right now.
Okay, all right, because I wanted to make sure that these were not young children.
Okay.
So now that I know that they are not, and that you're doing everything that needs to be done, and I see that you lost your home, sorry about that,
Yes. Okay.
but I'm glad that you stayed on track.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Because it's easy to throw up your hands when everything is hitting you all at once. All right, so then this case is going to end up terminating. And you'll have to do anger management on the 2017 case. You understand?
Yes. I do.
Okay. All right, is there anything you need from the court?
No, ma'am.
All right, if anything happens or you need some help, let your probation officer know. If you feel they're not addressing it, you can always come in.
I will. Thank
All
you.
right, and make sure you stay in contact with your doctors, okay?
I do. Yes, ma'am.
All
Thank
right, thank you.
you. You can have a seat on the couch, sir.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your future graduation. All right, which one is that? Okay. All right, thank you. All right, in this case. Okay. Okay. All right. So are we ready on Sergio Serta?
Yes, sir.
And we're going to go on the record. All right, the court is calling 2023 CR 9693, State of Texas versus Sergio Rodriguez Serta. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense?
Tom Nisbet on behalf of the defendant.
And are you Mr. Serta?
Yes.
All right, we have an interpreter present. If you can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear and affirm you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and Spanish into English, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Jacqueline Payan.
Right. All right, we're here for sentencing today. The defendant entered a plea of guilty and a plea of true to the enhancement allegation. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find him guilty in the enhancement true based upon his plea of true and based upon states exhibits 1 and attachments. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 4 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine and there are no applications, and there's to be a restitution to Robert Ortega. Are both parties ready to proceed with sentencing? State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So with regards to restitution to Robert Ortega, do we have any restitution amount?
Don't go from your side, please.
All right, let me see. I don't believe a PSI was done in this case because it was just a plea for time. All right. All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Judge, we just ask that you follow the sentencing and a post sentence.
All right, the court will sentence you to 4 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. There's a $1,500 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. Restitution, if any, to Robert Ortega. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
So, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it, Mr. Serta?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Serta, they do have the therapeutic community at the prison. I can ask that you be placed in the program, but I have no authority to make them follow that request. It is a program that perhaps can help you with your alcohol issues. It does not increase the length of time that you're in custody. So if, for example, they say, he needs more treatment with us, they're not going to extend your prison term. Would you like to be placed in the therapeutic community or considered for the therapeutic community?
Yes, that would be fine.
All right, could I see that file for a moment? All right, so once you get to the prison, you will still have to request it. And then whether or not they place you in it is completely up to them. All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Serta, you're gonna have to start doing better in your life. And you're one of those people who cannot drink at all. So do not drink. Good luck with you. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, could I see the parties back on Christopher Acosta? Thank you, Norma. Hello, Fabian Ortiz. If you could unmute for me.
Hello, Judge.
All right, Mr. Ortiz.
He's muted.
Yes, you're muted.
Yes, Judge, yes.
All right, this is Christopher Acosta.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Christopher Acosta is stating that he always has an issue with Smart Start because of equipment that was confiscated by the police 10 years ago. Is there any way to correct that in the system?
I can follow up with the vendor with Smart Start and see what they can do with that issue. I know I spoke with Mr. Acosta last week and he told me the difficulty about him not being able to calibrate because they keep bringing up the reoccurring issue. So I can email them or call them. I'll probably do both and see if we can resolve this.
Wonderful.
Awesome. And if there's an issue or they want to have a hearing on it, we can have a hearing on it and let them know they can zoom in.
That sounds good, Judge.
All right. And in the meantime, Mr. Acosta, you're going to have to do your part too, which is trying to find that police report or some record. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much for zooming in, Mr. Ortiz.
For the record, Judge, does Mr. Ortiz have the document showing that Chris was able to calibrate last week?
Do you have the documents showing that he calibrated?
Yes, I also have it from the vendor, and I did get the reason that he did calibrate the day the violation was submitted, so he is in compliance at this time.
Wonderful.
All right. Is there anything else for Mr. Ortiz?
No, thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you so much for zooming in on such short notice. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Judge.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you.
All right. So make sure you get that document to him if you can.
Yes, ma'am. I'll
And-
kind of go up to get the police report.
Oh, yes. Do that today.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you, Judge. May he be excused?
Yes.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. You too.
Thank you.
Okay. No, we're ready to approach on Mr. Ashbaugh.
Okay. Let me do this. Okay. That's done. Thank you. All right. The party's on Ashbaugh. All right. State, are you going to have an objection?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So we're going to go on the record. Court is calling 2023 CR 10004, State of Texas versus Tyler James Ashbaugh. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Daniel Escobar from the state of Texas.
defense?
Leo Gonzalez for Tyler Ashbaugh.
And are you Mr. Ashbaugh?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
All right, the defendant is appearing by Zoom. Any objections to the defendant appearing by Zoom, state?
No, Your Honor.
In defense, I'm assuming you have no objection.
Correct, Your Honor.
All right, we're here on a motion to modify bond conditions. State, have you had a chance to review the defense's motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you in objection?
Yes, Your
Any witnesses from either side?
Honor. Your Honor, state would only offer just the prosecution guide in this case,
No objections to that.
All right,
and just for the purposes of this hearing.
all right, thank you.
The defense would call Mr. Ashbaugh, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ashbaugh, I'm gonna need to make sure that you speak up so that the court reporter can hear. If you can raise
Yes,
your
Your
right
Honor.
hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Tyler Ashbaugh.
All right, defense?
Thank you. Your Honor. Mr. Ashbaugh, you have asked your firm, Donovan Jones, to file a motion on your behalf regarding being able to take your child to school. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you explain the circumstances that have led to filing that motion?
Excuse me, just one second. I'm sorry, if you all could make sure you whisper. All right, you may continue, counsel.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Well, since being on house arrest, it's put a big strain on my family, especially my fiance. She's having to do a lot of work on her own and take my daughter places to appointments and whatnot. And I just want to try to help and, do something for my family, anything for my family, be allowed to contribute something to my family.
What's the hardship you're having in the mornings in regards to drop off and of your
My
daughter?
wife, she goes to college. She goes to nursing school in the morning extremely early, and sometimes she's unable to take her. So we've had to get other family members involved as well, which is putting a strain on them. They have their own children.
What family members have you had to get? And in what way has it put a strain on them?
Her sister now has to take her to school twice during the week in the morning, and we have to wake up more early so she can get dropped off over there at her house, and she has 2 kids of her own.
Now, let me ask you this. What time are you asking the court to allow you to be able to take your daughter to school? And what time are you asking the court to allow you to return?
I'm asking for a window from 6:30 to 7:30, and that's it, because she gets dropped off at 7.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, is this 6:30 a.m. and 7:30 a.m.?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, if y'all will just give me a moment to review this.
Yes, Your Honor.
People.
I know, also because of. Yeah, this is. So what kids you can't do? No. It's just.
Okay. Okay, all right, thank you.
I'll do a freedom of information request. Good luck with that. One of my scores more. The national championship.
All right, are the parties ready? We're back on the record in 2023 CR 10004. I just have one question. How old is the child in this case?
Mr. Ashbaugh.
Mr. Ashbaugh, you're
4
still
year-
under
four-
oath. How old is the child?
4 years old, about to turn 5. I have a son on the way as well.
All right, so here's the court's question. I've read the police report and I understand the nature of the report. What is the concern with him dropping the child off? You say the child has to be there by what time?
It's 7 o'clock.
What is the current concern with that small window for him to drop the child off and bring the?
Judge, so this was a random shooting. Again, the concern is that due to the nature of it, which is random, these were people that he had no contact with before, as far as we can tell. There was no reason for the act to have happened, so it's just a concern just for the general public safety, just due to the random nature of the crime.
Okay, I understand that, but he's on full house arrest. And how long has he been on full house arrest? How long have you been on full house arrest, Mr. Ashbaugh?
Around over 2 years, ma'am.
All right, so from the court's perspective, people cut off monitors every day. They do. But I'm going to allow him to take the 4-year-old because I think that will alleviate any more issues if there are mental health issues involved for him to just drop the daughter off. He's not asking to even do pickup, just to drop her off. And
Yes, ma'am.
that
Thank you
small
so
window-
much. Your Honor.
Sure. And that's, thank you. And that small window is just an hour. So where are you dropping her off to? What's the location?
The School of Science and Technology. It's on Weidner Road. I could get the address for you right now if you would like me to.
No, you said School of Science and Technology on Weiner Road?
Weidner.
Yes.
Weidner? Spell that,
Yes,
please.
Weidner.
WEIDER.
I'm not quite sure how to spell that.
Mind if I Google that?
No, not at all. I think I have the spelling correct, but just to verify, I would.
Yeah,
would
I
go
think
for it.
there's a D in there, but I'm
There
not
is a
sure.
D and there's an N.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Maria, we're talking over each other. We have to stop that. All right, the address is 11214 North Weidner, WEIDNER Road. So I'll allow him to drop his child off. And what days are these? Is this just Monday through Friday?
Yes, Your Honor.
Monday through Friday. He's allowed from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. to transport his child to the School of Science and Technology at 11214 North Weeder Road. All right, let me explain something to you. That means you're just dropping your child off. If you see a McDonald's on your route, which you probably will, you are not allowed to stop at the McDonald's and say, well, it was on the way, so I thought I could do that. The only thing you are allowed to do is take your child to that school and go back home. That is it. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you deviate, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to get a violation report from GPS because GPS is going to track you. And when I get that violation report, guess what? We're going to have a hearing on it and you're going to be required to be in court for that hearing. And I don't want to hear, well, it was on the way, so I figured why not do it? And your attorney, I already know what the argument will be. It was just McDonald's. It was just, whatever. It was just Red Lobster. No, you are only allowed to drop your child off at that school in the morning. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Is there anything else?
No, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
All right. And I think his next court date is March 18th. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yes. They didn't officially offer this. So no, they didn't offer it. Here you are.
May I leave, Your Honor?
Yes, you may leave.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, could I see the parties on Joanna Reyes, please? All right, Ms. Reyes, you can have a seat.
Thanks. No, you take a seat.
All right, and I'll. And Criminal Trial Division. If y'all would let me know if you have any objections. And to the report I have, just give me a moment, I'm reading that now. All right, if I could see the detectives, Lawrence and Kilpatrick, please. Oh, yes. Norma, on Wilfredo, is the interpreter here?
Yes, she's
Okay.
talking to him.
All right. Are y'all ready on Wilfredo Salinas? All right. Yes, if y'all will come forward, Mr. Salinas.
Your Honor, we're just merely asking for 30 more days.
Oh, just one second. Who's the state on Wilfredo Salinas? All right, so where are we with his immigration attorney?
We're working on the plea bargain as far as him having an immigration attorney.
Yes,
I'm registered with the executive office. of
all right,
Immigration.
so that's covered.
As far as the plea bargain, uh, at this point in time on the timeline, we're still working on the plea offer. Now, there's nothing in the case file as far as the witnesses that point to my client as being the aggressor. It looks as if he's defending his brother by getting the individual officer.
Judge, I'm gonna object to getting to the facts.
Facts, yes.
Okay.
All right,
We
so,
need, I think 30 more days to develop the testimony of the witnesses.
well, I mean, are you all going to be going to a jury trial? Has an offer been tendered?
So Judge, an offer's been tendered by the state. I think the defense and I are still having conversations about, well, that also.
Right.
All right, so Ms. Ferguson,
Yes, ma'am.
I need a plea deadline date in 30 days. So in 30 days, you all are gonna have to figure it out.
Okay.
What date?
I can do. That's been something to do in spring. I can do the 18th, Judge.
All right, we're gonna come back on March 18th. That is gonna be your plea deadline date. At that time, either there's gonna be something worked out or either you're going to jury trial.
Okay. Right.
All right, is there anything else?
Beautiful.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Really, no sleep.
You're exactly right.
Jeannie?
Yeah.
I need a start of appeal
Oh, this has a case.
on the wall.
Well, it's.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I mean, so much practice. In this flow, that's such a.
Yes. Okay.
But in any case, it's indicative of. Exactly. Whether or not arrested or not. Yeah.
All right, and then?
I'm not in agreement. So granted, I think someone already responded and it's actually completed.
Okay.
I'm not in agreement with the actual motion itself. Because it's descriptive of knowledge.
Okay.
Not a possession of, so.
All right, we'll set for a hearing to clear things up.
Yeah, it's not really. So.
Yes.
You know, and I hate.
Early term.
Yeah, I was felon in possession of a firearm. He had a PRO or something like 2019, so 3-4 years ago.
Okay. Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, it's not.
Thank you. Let's set those for a hearing.
Yes, and in fact, it's been a thing to register. So.
And there's no application, ma'am.
But I'll, you know, awesome, it's like. If not you. He might be an inside person.
I know.
I would recommend. I know, you know, yeah. I know.
So.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yes. Sure. Yeah, nice to meet you, Mark. So anyways. I know, I know.
I swear I know.
Yeah, I hear you. We had also touch base with. Work to see around that. Yeah, okay, I imagine it'll fall apart. I mean, you know, there's no practical realities.
Of course, yeah.
All right.
Well, it's great talking to you. Have a good rest of your day.
Yes.
Go.
All right, Detective Martinez. If you go around this way. Can you raise your hand? Please solemnly swear to
course, yeah, yeah, no.
in your personal knowledge. Sign.
Awesome. Yeah, I understand. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good one. All right, state, on that translation case with Kathy Compton and Mr. Leal, they say it's going to take 3 months. Yeah.
Are they continuing to talk to them and get more?
Yes.
Goodness. 3 months to get it. 3 months?
Well, because in Furline, they say it's 27 audio calls, total of 47 calls. It's 15 hours and 56 minutes and 57 seconds.
Are they what we gave you, my understanding was that it's just everything. So I
Yes.
don't know if it's been narrowed down to just the calls with better call. That's
No.
my whole thing.
Okay.
That's why.
But defense might want everything. So.
Yes, because I mean, yeah.
I mean, sounds
Yes,
like,
I think
if
it-
I was defense, I'd want everything.
I think that everything should probably be translated, because if something were to happen and somebody wants to use it, then you can only use it if there's an official translation.
Right.
And then in Eric's case, there are 50 audio calls, 19 video calls, 69 calls for a total of 24 hours, 51 minutes and 25 seconds. They say the calls range in duration from 1 minute to 22 seconds to an average of 23 to 24 minutes. Taking consideration the connection time to the call, internet issues, etc. I estimate these will not be as lengthy. As per your instructions, I will proceed to transcribe and translate all of these calls unless you instruct me otherwise. I estimate 2 to 3 months of completion.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. I mean, it has to be done.
Yeah. Thanks, Judge.
Sure. Norma,
Yes, ma'am.
we need to have a setting, an earlier setting on Eric Guzman and also, I'm sorry, Eric Gonzalez and also Froilan Guzman.
Can I- real quick, Judge?
Oh, I don't have anything. It's the one, it's Kathy Compton's case and Raphael Leal,
Oh, okay.
those two.
Mr. Dial's here.
So we'll need to get them both here so we can get a date.
You want to talk to Mr. Dial right now since he's here?
No, we'll just wait and order them and have yes. See if they can come in on Thursday, if that's possible. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go on the record. Court is calling 2019 CR 9039, State of Texas versus James Arlington Cole. Can I have parties approach and announce for the record? Come down.
Is that done for the state?
Can you give it for the dependent?
And are you Mr. Cole?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Cole, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Going to show you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, off the record. There's no offense listed here.
The others are all on me.
That's okay.
It's like it's a cursed one today.
My apologies, Judge.
Oh, no problem. It's Monday, it happens.
Back to title of the chart first. Which we would like for to be left off, but no. We're saying about it, don't judge him.
Yeah.
Sorry, Judge, some of these,
Oh, no problem.
Going in and changing.
they like to mess with me.
They do their own thing.
I'm sorry, Judge.
No problem. All right, we're back on the record. With regards to the true bill and indictment, Mr. Cole, have you reviewed that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
So you're proceeding on both counts?
Yes, Your Honor. No, yes. Your Honor, we are clearly, I am not functioning today, but I am.
That's okay. No, I believe because count 2 is an assault family second.
You know, Your Honor, we're gonna waive count 2, Your Honor, and just proceed on count 1.
All right, any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Cole, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? You're going to need to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand in count 1, you're charged with the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're going to go off the record. Could you mute us, please? And Norma, the cases for impact, which ones did you say were entering, please?
None of them yet. I
Okay.
have these two to choose. This one is.
Oh, wow. New do, new you.
All right, thank you.
Judge, I just got a text message. There is one. Oh, that's on page 6, Judge.
Okay,
It's a mirror to go on stage.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Foudier. Kevin Foudier.
If you're on bond,
Yes.
are you ready to approach?
We, so. We're having some modification issues that we need to see on further. It didn't happen.
These people swim down there, what do you want off?
Kevin Carell? Hello, Mr. Carell, come forward. All right, today is plea deadline date. So is he asking for a jury trial?
A plea has been extended. He and I have not had enough time to fully understand the gravity of what's on the table. Could there be just an additional small length of time, 30 days-ish or so, or some number, so we can figure out which is the best, most efficient course of action for our
All right, I'll bring you all back on the 15th.
Could it be, that's just in 3 days? Could it be?
Yes.
Could it be at least a week, Judge? Just
No. And the reason why, I don't do this arbitrarily. This is the reason why. Because we were here on November 30th and I gave everybody a plea deadline date. Well, I'm sorry, October 23rd. I gave you all a plea deadline date of November 30th. Then on November 30th, I extended the plea deadline date to January 19th. And then on January 19th, I extended the plea deadline date to February 12th. So this deadline is being extended to February 15th.
Okay. Thank you for your.
All right, and I say that because I don't want people to think that I'm just doing things arbitrarily. So on February 15th, you need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the plea. There will be no further extensions of the plea deadline date. Once you sign the reset form, you are excused.
And the plea deadline means we have to sign on the plea that day?
Yes.
Or- Okay,
All right, is there anything else?
nothing further at this time.
All right, once you sign the reset form, you're excused. All right, are you all ready on Mr. Cole?
Your Honor, let's hope.
All right.
Third time's a charm, maybe, Your Honor.
Oh, yes, and it's Monday. All right, we're gonna go back on the record. 2019 CR 9039, State of Texas versus James Arlington Cole. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Jeannie Cupid for the defendant.
All right. See, we're gonna pretend like this never happened.
That works.
So, did you all, Mr. Cole, did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
State waives and abandons count 2, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
Mr. Cole, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged in count 1 with the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Did you understand if the court were to grant your application
Yes, ma'am.
for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has assisted me in his defense, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, he does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Mr. Cole, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Other than the plea bargain agreement, have you received any promises?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, state is recommending deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Latoya Washington. Did you understand with affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
State, I'm sorry,
Yes, Judge.
defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 5 years. Did you understand that's a recommendation from the state and the court does not have to follow that recommendation?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Then to count 1 in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
Yes, Your Honor. State offers states 1 and attachments.
Any objections?
None.
All right. And while I'm reviewing that and talking to him about that, if you all can initial. All right. Mr. Cole, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, off the record. Can you mute us, please? Hi.
Right. Oh, I. Yeah. No.
You can just double check. I'm just basing that on the fact that family violence heard it.
Anything else? Who's here on Tyrone Laird?
Here, Judge.
Hello.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. So are y'all ready to proceed on the motion to revoke?
No.
No, Judge, we did make an offer. I think there's a new number 1 the defense wanted to review the discovery on.
All right, Mr. Laird, come down.
When I got the notice of this setting, I noticed I didn't have any, I call them the home video. And I'm gonna have to review them and see if we get them.
All right, so the new case is the drug case. Is that the only
Yes.
matter?
Yes, Judge.
And are you appointed on the drug case as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Tyrone Laird, I need a 30-day reset for contested. Maybe it's not going to be contested, but we shall see. Yes.
If you do the 21st of March.
All right, we're going to come back on March 21st. If this is going to be contested, is there any objection to probation appearing by video?
No, no, Your Honor.
All right, probation, you can appear by video.
Maybe excuse Your Honor.
Yes. Just 1 second. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right, we will see you back on March 21st. And counsel, if you want to bring him back sooner than that, if you all work out something, just let the court know.
I certainly will, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
All right, and Norma, what is happening with John Kuntz's client, Anthony Woodard? All right, if you'll call Mr. Kuntz. Ah, and we say his name 3 times and he appears.
Oh.
Yes.
What is the state?
All right, the court report is taking a 5-minute break. When we come back, we're going to take up Adrian Del Laterio. And then we're going to go back on Cole. And then it will be Carranza. Then it will be Umkafor. And then Jose Ruiz. Mhm. All right, Del Laterio.
Your Honor, he's an inmate. We are in trial in Gillespie. I'm trying to join Ray out there.
Okay.
I did want to apprise the court. I know she's not there, but he was rejected from mental health because of prior criminal history.
All right, state. It's on Adrian Del Laterio.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be allowed in mental health court because of prior issues. And she needs to head off to jury trial in another county. So what we're going to do is we're going to recall this. How long do y'all expect your trial to
It's a
last?
state jail judge. We'll be done.
Uh-huh.
Friday's fine.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to put you on Friday. Norma,
Yes, sir.
can we recall this on maybe the week of the 19th? I know the 19th is a holiday, but if we could do that. All right, the 20th?
Yes, Your Honor, please.
Okay. So we'll come back on February 20th.
Holiday is on the 19th.
It's President Day.
Oh,
Yes. Buy your sheets while you can.
there you go.
Usually they have a sale on sheets and bedding and beds and all
There
things.
is something to be said for that,
Yes.
but that's just because I have a toddler that what's that.
Okay. All right. So we'll be back on the 24th.
Thank you, Your 20th?
I'm sorry, the 20th, 2024.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Safe travels. Do not speed. Do not rush. Take your time. You'll get there when you're supposed to get there.
Yes.
The key is get there safely.
A lot of troopers out there. I'm
Okay.
very, very abiding by the speed of it. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. All right. Could you let Mr. Delaterio, we're going to recall him for February 20th.
That is good. I sleep. Well, yeah, that is true.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, if the judge is okay with that. So, someone. Classic listening.
Amanda Drive?
Are you ready? All right, we're going to go back on the record in 2019 CR 9039, State of Texas versus James Cole.
Okay.
Could I have the parties re-announce?
Pseudonym for the state, Your Honor. Zach Dunn.
Okay.
Jeannie Cupid for the defendant, Your Honor.
All right, where we left off, Mr. Cole, you reviewed the waiver to consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney. Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments. And the court has reviewed the same. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wish to say?
I just want to say thank you. God bless you.
Oh,
Hasn't done
okay.
anything yet.
Well, I appreciate that, but, and God bless you too, but I'm talking about anything you want to say about this case.
Your Honor, may I speak?
No.
May I
Yes.
speak? I've worked with Mr. Cole for several years now. He has expressed to me that on this day was not the best day, and he's extremely remorseful for what happened. He wishes to take responsibility for that. He is a sole parent to a little 8-year-old girl. He lives in Houston. He's a caretaker for his mother also, who's 68 years old. She cares for his daughter when he travels as a truck driver. He is thankful that the court would consider his application for deferred, and I believe he'd be a good candidate for that, Your Honor.
All right, I'm trying to figure out though, what is your problem? Because of course, the state is waiving count 2. But count 2 shows that you committed a domestic violence case in Caddo Parish, Louisiana, as we call it, Shreveport. So there's a domestic violence case there. Then there are 2 domestic violence cases against Miss Washington. What is your issue? I don't understand how having a bad day means you go to a plasma center where somebody's giving blood and chase them around a parking lot and upset because they don't want you as their boyfriend. How old are you?
34, Your Honor.
All right, so this is not 5-year-olds where you're putting some girl's pigtails in an inkwell. I'm not that old, but that's what they did on Little House on the Prairie. So I'm trying to figure out what's your issue.
No issue, Your Honor.
No, I mean, you have violent tendency, which why? Why do you feel the need to be abusive to people that you're in a relationship with? And I'm assuming you love them. So why are you being abusive?
I wasn't abusive. It just,
No, if you chase somebody around the parking lot, unless y'all playing Ring Around the Rosies, and if you're not playing that, then that means that you're violent. And the poor guy who was taking people's blood and they're trying to relax and eat their cookies and give blood, he had to witness this. So don't come before me saying you don't have violent tendencies, because your history shows that you do. And this case is a violent case. That's why it's called aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And honestly, aggravated assaults, you never see them where they say friendly aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. It's always violent, because that's why it's aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. So I'm trying to figure out, what is your problem? Why are you abusive to people you claim to love? Your 8-year-old is going to grow up and ultimately be in a relationship with somebody. Do you want somebody to be abusive to her?
no,
You want somebody to chase her around a parking lot?
no.
So again, why are you doing this? Because I don't know if I should accept this plea or not. I'm trying to figure out why you're doing what you do. And you and I both know that the person who's taking care of the 8-year-old is not you. It's your mom, her grandmother. So why do you have anger issues? I mean, there has to be a reason. I mean, if somebody say they don't want you, then usually the answer to that is okay. And as my grandmother would say when she's alive, she's like, my heart may be breaking in 1,000 pieces and I'm crying on the inside, but you'll never see it on the outside. Or as Beyonce says in her song, there will not be a tear falling from this eye. So why can't you accept when people don't want you?
Because I have a heart, Your Honor.
Everybody has a heart, but
Caring heart, but
that doesn't make sense to me. That somebody breaks up with you, you have a caring heart, so you abuse them because they want to leave. Did you ever look internally and find out why maybe Miss Washington didn't want to be with you? And then you slash your tires. Do you know how much tires cost? That's expensive. And if she's at the place giving blood and making a donation, maybe she's selling plasma, maybe not. Usually when they say in the report that someone was giving plasma, that usually means that they're selling it. Otherwise, they're just giving a blood donation. So why you slash your tires?
because I paid for them, Your Honor.
So is that a gift? Were those tires a gift? Are you being childish? Everything I bought you, I want, and I'm gonna tear it up? And I don't even know if you paid for those tires. But guess what? You chalk that up. Whenever you're in a relationship with somebody, and even with family, when you give them money, it's not a loan. If they pay you back, great. If they don't, you have to accept it. And if you're in a relationship, did you tell her, I'm giving you these tires, but if you break up with me, I want my tires back? So why should I follow this agreement? I'm still trying to figure that out. I mean, there has to be a reason why I should follow this other than you just throwing yourself on the mercy of the court.
because I am a good person,
Your record doesn't show that.
and I changed for the better, Your Honor. And I have not gotten no trouble under the 5 years that this charge been going on. I've been driving trucks for 5 years. I have my own business. I was leasing a truck with the company I was with, and now since I don't have none, I don't have no job, I don't have nothing no more because I'm in jail. But I understand, and I've really better myself, and try to, go back out there and do what's right, and for my family, for my daughter, for myself as well.
All right, so where is he living now?
In Houston, Your Honor.
And State, have you had any contact with the complainant?
We've attempted, Your Honor, of course, for the past few years, and we've not been able to reach them.
All right. So this was indicted in 2018. That's before my time. Otherwise, this case would have moved quicker. All right, this is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to 6 years deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with LaToya Washington. And who is the mother of your 8-year-old?
Aaron Jenkins.
And why is she not taking care of her daughter?
Your
I
Honor,
got custody of it, Your Honor.
She's never been involved in the child's life.
All right, these are people we choose to have children with. I'm going to ask for 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once that's completed, the court will deem the community service hours to be satisfied. The BIPP course, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. I'll allow transfer to Houston. What county is that?
Harris.
Harris, thank you. Probation. Is there anything else? All right, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
About going back on the road, probably.
Well, I mean, you have to be employed.
So,
And work with your probation and all that. And I'll work with you if there's an issue. I can come back to the court.
All right, he's allowed to travel for work. If you can make sure that's in the paperwork.
thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. From here on out, everything you do, every decision you make, you know what the first question you should ask? Is this something that could potentially result in me going to prison for 20 years? If the answer is yes, don't do it. The other thing is you desperately need to get an orchid in your life. Let me tell you why I tell people that. Orchids are so hard to get to rebloom. When you get them from the store, the blooms are there, they're beautiful, right? Once you're able to get that orchid and the blooms fall off, if you're able to get that orchid to rebloom, you may be ready for a relationship. And I don't say that lightly. And the reason why I say that is because orchids take a lot of patience. When they don't rebloom, what you want to do, what you're tempted to do is like, let me just throw this in the trash. I'm going to get another one with the same color, and people will think, oh, look, it's blooming right. Great. She's doing a great job with it. Don't do that. Get that orchid. And when you're driving your truck, travel with your orchid to get to know your orchid. And once it reblooms, you may be ready for a relationship. You understand? And if somebody doesn't want you, let them go. Right? They don't want you. You understand? And do not get in touch with Miss Washington. She doesn't want you anymore. She don't want you in your life. Y'all don't have any children or property together. She's done with you. You understand? All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Who's here on Juan Carranza? Let me just do this first and then I'll focus on that. All right, court is calling 2022 CR 9121B, State of Texas versus Juan Carranza. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Zach Dunn for the state.
For the defense?
Melissa Christian.
And are you Mr. Carranza? All right, off the record for a moment. Norma, on that case, just put them here when he's going to be here.
Okay.
All right. And that's Angelini.
Right in April.
Yes. And let Angelini know. All right, thank you. We're back on the record. Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
I did, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Are there any applications in this case?
There are none.
Mr. Carranza, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yeah.
Ms. Carranza, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Did you understand you're charged with the offense of sexual assault of a child? That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights? Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? You're going to need to speak up. Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do believe.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe that.
Mr. Carranza, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 6 years in the prison. There are no applications, Chapter 62 registration, and no contact with the complainant. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
Defense?
Yes.
State.
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
We've filed a bunch of motions, Judge, but we didn't have any rulings or hearings on those.
Okay. Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. State offer states 1 in attachments.
We have no objections.
Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront Any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent. Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We would like to, Judge.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, what I would say on behalf of Mr. Carranza is he's taken this very seriously. His family has been here every single time. We have gone thoroughly through the evidence. We got a DNA expert. He is remorseful about what took place. He has behaved himself in jail. He's gotten his GED. He's gotten a life skills class certificate. He is sorry that this took place, and he's asking the court to follow the plea bargain.
All right, state, have you had contact with the complainant?
We have, Your Honor.
And is the complainant aware of this offer?
They are, Your Honor, and I believe potentially they'd like to give victim impact as well, but of course we can take that up post-sentence for the court's awareness.
All right. Yes.
The complainant is currently, they're in school, so they won't be able to, but
All right, and are they in agreement with this offer?
yes, Your Honor.
All right, I see that this is Riverwalk.
Correct.
Past midnight,
Correct.
alcohol involved.
Correct.
And I see where in the statement, well, in the police report, everyone is saying that this was a blur.
Correct.
Okay.
And there are, just for the court's edification, there were 2 samples of male DNA. There's a delayed outcry. The second sample of male DNA wasn't disclosed in the complaining witness's statement. The co-defendant was found incompetent, so can neither be inculpatory or exculpatory. So this case had some unique features to it.
All right. All right, now I understand why the offer is what it is.
Yes, Your Honor,
Okay.
yes.
And I appreciate you both for clarifying that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, court is going to sentence you to 6 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. There's to be Chapter 62 registration. And there's to be no contact with the complainant. All right, is there anything else with regards to sentencing?
No, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Carranza, the time to do right is before you get in trouble. You understand? All right, good luck to you.
Thank you. Judge, may we be excused?
Yes.
I'm marking it on my calendar.
All right, thank you. Who's here on Anastasia Umikafor? Why do I have this file?
Jessica.
Oh. Okay, I don't know why I have this one. I'm sure there's a reason I do. All right, Jose Ruiz. Where is Teresa Conley? All right, thank you.
And that's for Sean Colvin, Judge.
Okay. All right, we will find out.
Get on the Zoom, try to pick a date. Is that what we're supposed to do?
And is your guy Brandon Wright?
Yes, Judge.
He is here on the Zoom.
And I think we're supposed to try to pick a date.
Yes.
Thought we might talk dates first before we didn't waste any of the court's time.
All right, if y'all will talk dates then, and Mr. Wright, I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room.
Christopher Trevino from Friday. The one that.
Mr. Wright, I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room.
You did, okay.
Thank you. Everyone, we are recessing at 12.
Hey, John, what's going on? Picking some dates for a couple of trials. Times you're hearing? 1:30.
Amanda Drummond. Okay, just have a seat.
Might work.
I'm finished with the baby case, which is starting the week before. I'm not finished.
Yeah, we'll figure it out if we need it.
That's Easter the week before. So
Mhm.
just a very good chance I won't be finished with my baby theft case, because we're not even starting until the 25th.
Uh-huh. You're
And
good
there's-
on.
There's 57 witnesses.
Oh, really? Lot.
Was that kid, it's the baby that died in Colorado and they went to Costa Rica.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're saying it's gonna take 3 weeks.
It's a long way.
John Coots and Daniel.
But if you want to set it that, I mean, if you want to set it that day, that's fine.
I mean, because it's really
Yeah.
busy. and then-
That's fine. What you got?
Update on the calibration.
Wonderful. Jason will. And if I end up not going on Nicole, then we can do this.
Mhm.
And I'll know by the middle of the week before. So I can let him know from you, because he's got a plan for Houston and stuff, so.
We can always, we're always ready on something. I'm just getting off our back.
I actually, yeah, so I mean, I just need to let him know like a week in advance. He has to get a hotel and all that rubbish.
Okay.
Yeah, that's except I've got to pick the murder with her dates next, and that's gonna be like
Yeah.
June.
Good morning.
Yeah, that's what.
Or
I was
August.
thinking.
Yes. Oh, no, you can keep it.
Okay.
The summer's terrible, so.
Vacation. You're sleeping. Which is always fine. I'm here this summer.
April 9th,
For right.
Brandon.
Yes. And then I had written down some stuff on the vacation sheet that might start. I'm not sure what else you have going on.
For what? Oh, for Mary. You're not married too? Oh,
I'm lucky enough to be on this.
well then tomorrow, we also need to talk still tomorrow.
Yes.
Because obviously tomorrow we're not gonna go because we don't have the fun stuff.
So Lindsay had called.
I have a drive for you.
You have the drive.
I have a drive for you. Aren't you going somewhere today?
Yes.
Okay, I have the drive for you. Don't let me leave.
Okay. So this is what I was thinking, but if you're busy and not.
That's not gonna work. Oh, June, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna be out of the country.
Okay. We're gonna go beyond that. Beyond that. I'm here to go out there about this.
Just Coach, I gotta check Tochi says, please.
Okay, I'm sorry, Judge. Teresa and I were talking in the hallway.
That's okay.
Where?
And is Lorraine Efron going to be here?
I have not heard from Lorraine.
All right. Ms. Ferguson, can you see if Ms. Efron is going to be here?
Yeah, well, she was calling us. I don't know if she wants us up. Thanks. We're waiting. Is Lorraine coming? No. No.
What about for Mary? Like July? 15th.
Come on, I know my detective's on vacation. Let me check.
Okay. Tochi's gone middle of June.
John, what is happening with your case?
Entering a plea, we just submitted paperwork.
All right, thank you.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
My.
The last discovery we got was January 9th.
It's gonna be on July 26th.
There've been no additions, no new discovery, so I don't need to do a new one unless you want one.
No.
No.
Your email's gone when?
Thank you.
July 24th to August.
We should be finished. On Mary, if we started on the 15th. We should be, even if we start on the 15th, we should be finished. Mary's not that long.
I think it's like 2 weeks.
Mary?
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I think.
Holy crap, well, what if you take her out of order? I want to, I don't care, it's just the age. Is he dead? He's dead.
What about July 30th?
All right, could I see the parties on Anthony Tyrone Woodard?
Oh, wait.
Yes, ma'am.
And is this just going to be a plea to one case?
That's just Your Honor, and
Even more.
I have dismissals, but they're not TIC, so if you want to handle them at the end, however you want.
Okay.
That would be fine.
What's that?
July 30th.
Tochi's gone. Oh, let me go back to Tochi's calendar. Tochi's.
Guys, if there's an issue with the ME, is anybody going to stipulate maybe to the ME's report? This is just me just throwing that out there. All right, court is calling 2023 CR 4941, State of Texas versus Anthony Tyrone Jack Woodard. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
James Phillips instead of Texas.
Defense?
James Phillips, PHILLIPS.
John Kuntz for Mr. Woodard.
And are you Mr. Woodard?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Woodard, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to waive and abandon the habitual enhancement allegation, proceed solely on the remainder of the indictment.
We're very grateful. We have no objection.
All right. Mr. Woodard, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney?
Yes,
Did
ma'am.
you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign it at all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand, the state is charging you with the offense of possession of a controlled substance penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams. That's a second degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights? Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Very much so.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Judge.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, and yes.
Mr. Woodard, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right. According to this, you sort of have a plea and not have a plea. So where the plea agreement is that the state agrees to make no recommendation to your sentencing. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
But you're entering a plea open to the court. So what that means is I could give you probation or I could sentence you to prison anywhere from 2 to 20 years. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your
And
Honor.
do you understand that to be your hybrid agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense,
Yes, Judge.
state,
Yes, Your Honor.
showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, Your Honor, there was only one motion. It was a motion to sever the drug case, this case that he's pleading on from a felon in possession of a firearm, and the defense won that motion. I was ruled on by Miguel Navajo. That's the only motion.
I appreciate it anytime the state says the defense won a motion, so yes, we did win that one.
Credit where credit's due.
All right. Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State, any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor, at this time, the state will offer State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
We reviewed it and have no objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Woodard, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty and the court will find you guilty. Is there anything I need to know about this case other than what the charge is? Is there a need for a PSI or would I be able to make a decision based upon criminal history?
Well, as you know, Judge, they waived the repeater count or the habitual counts, I should
Yes.
say. So, and we've filed an application for community supervision. So if the court is inclined to grant his application, we would love to proceed today.
Mhm.
And Your Honor, I would just make you aware of his criminal history, that's all. That's the only mitigating.
All right, so this is my suggestion. And we can go off the record. And if nobody wants to follow my suggestion, you're more than welcome to do so. We can do a PSI. The reason why I'm saying this is because the PSI are probably like 6 to 8 weeks out. So we can reset this and counsel, if you want to get letters or something for your client, you can do that. And if you all at the day of sentencing are just able to give me the criminal history, that's what I'll be needing.
I prefer a PSI, Judge, just so you can get a full picture.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Again, if you want to just give them probation today, we'll take it.
All right. Well, the state is not waiving the PSI.
Well, they're bullies. They're mean. So.
All right, we can go back on the record. Norma, PSI, what date?
I can do April 11th.
All right, we'll come back on April 11th and I'll ask for a TAP evaluation as well. Make sure you make all of those appointments. Do not miss any of those appointments. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, once you sign the reset form, you will be excused and then you wanted to tender the dismissals on the other cases?
Yes, Your Honor. Tendering these dismissals today.
Okay.
He's not taking any responsibility for them. We're just outright dismissing them.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else,
Nothing further from the state.
once you get the reset form, just make sure you speak with probation and they will let you know what you need to do.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you.
Good rest of your week, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You too. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Are you already on Brandon Wright? All right. Jose Torres?
Name the appointments.
Yes. All right, so where are we?
Your Honor, I called his high school and I could pick his school records tomorrow, Your Honor. And from there I will give to the court. And from there, we'll have a jury trial on his
Well, I mean, have a setting on the competency, correct?
Yes, we haven't had the setting yet. They want his school records. I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow. I did call the school today. I could pick up tomorrow. His school
Okay.
records.
So,
I informed the state about the situation.
and so you're delivering the school records to,
To the doctor.
all right, and that's gonna be done tomorrow?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right, so we're gonna recall this case on March 4th. Could I see a reset form, please? Thank you. All right, so we'll come back on March 4th. And then I'm going to find out when they're setting that competency trial. All right, once you sign the reset form, you're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Parties on April Rodriguez. Court is calling 2023 CR 10719, State of Texas versus April Rodriguez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Roberto Ambrosino.
And are you Ms. Rodriguez? Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I did.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Rodriguez, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you the true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We did.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are.
Ms. Rodriguez, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you
Yes, ma'am.
sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of theft under $2,500 enhanced? That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that the court would grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
She has.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I believe she does.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do.
Ms. Rodriguez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. showing you the waiver of appeal. I'm sorry, showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, there's a $500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney?
Yes.
Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 100 hours of community service restitution, no contact with Walmart at 918 Bandera Road. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. State exhibit number 1.
No objection.
All right, states, you may continue to confer. Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Just that you filed the plea bargain now.
All right, Ms. Rodriguez, why are you stealing?
At the time, because it was just a dumb mistake. Something that I thought I needed and I didn't have the money for it.
No, it's not a mistake. You made choices.
All right.
So people throw around the word mistake loosely. You didn't make a mistake.
I made
You-
a wrong choice.
Yes. So why are you making these choices? Because this is not the first time you were arrested for theft.
I don't know. I honestly, I guess it was just a form of habit.
All right. Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
3, 10, and 17.
And do they live with you?
Mhm.
That's either yes or
Yes,
no.
ma'am. I'm sorry.
And when you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And you're going to get drug tested today.
I'm on methanol, but I get it prescribed from my doctor. I don't take it off the street.
All right. So are you going to be positive for anything other than methadone?
No, ma'am.
Are you employed?
No, not at the time.
How do you support yourself?
Oh, I get a check, social security check. I live
SSI
off of
for
that.
what?
Social security?
Yes,
For,
what?
my mental health.
All right. And what is your mental diagnosis?
I have a manic and bipolar, and I have other issues, but those are the main ones.
Okay. All right. Who helps you with take care of your children?
Their dad from time to time.
Okay.
It's pretty much just me, but from time to time he comes in and out the picture.
All right. Where's the 3-year-old now?
She's with my aunt.
All right. This is what I'm going to do. 3 years deferred adjudication. We're going to do a referral to felony drug court. Felony drug court has a mental health diagnosis component. And also I want a referral to mental health court. Counsel, they're right across the hall. If they accept her, state, if she's accepted in the mental health court will only accept her if she's not on probation So would you all be amenable to them withdrawing their plea through a motion for new trial if she's accepted in mental health court? All right, so counsel, you're gonna have to go across the hallway and see if mental health court will accept her. If they will, you can come back here and do a motion for new trial. And I'm leaning towards granting it if she's in mental health court.
Okay.
All right, so referral to felony drug court, mental health court. Proof of SSI or employment within 45 days. No employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. There should be no contact with Walmart at 918 Bandera Road. 200 hours of community service restitution. The court is going to order parenting classes. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. I'm going to want random field visits. One time per month until further notice. And probation, if you can let them know I'm serious about that since we have a 3-year-old with her. I mean, you need a theft class, but I know you have a lot on your plate. Here's my theft course. Don't take what doesn't belong to you. Don't steal.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't take for something that you didn't pay for. And as a side note, if somebody invites you to their home and asks you to leave, leave. If you're on somebody's property and they ask you to leave, leave. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do not pick up any more theft cases. You are not allowed to steal. If you want things, you have to pay for things. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, on the employment, I think she received Social Security disability.
Oh, that's why I said she needs to provide proof of SSI or employment within 45 days. Okay. All right, probation.
You mentioned regular reporting with one person.
No. So regular reporting by Zoom or in person. I'm gonna want a TAP evaluation out of custody. And
Also, are you waiving any of her community service hours?
if she completes parenting classes, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied, but you must complete parenting
Yes, ma'am.
classes. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And TAP evaluation can be done out of custody. Follow all TAP recommendations. There's a $500 fine that will be probated. Is Child Protective Services in your life or no?
I'm sorry.
Is Child Protective Services in your life?
From time to time, they have been in the past, but I always, whatever it is that they ask me to do, I've never lost my kid. But I have dealt with them in the past. Right now, no. The last case that I had was maybe like a year ago.
All right, probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney?
Yes,
Did
ma'am.
you understand it? Oops, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're going to have to do better.
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Thank
just
you.
remain seated and probation will go over conditions with you. All right, and on Miss Rodriguez, LaShawn, if you can make sure she waits after you go over conditions with her. I just want somebody to come over and let her know what services are available for her children. Okay. Are we ready on Brandon Wright?
Yeah, I believe we are, Judge.
All right. All right. So on Brandon Wright, we're supposed to obtain a trial date. Have we come up with a date?
We have, Judge.
We have, Judge.
All right, what date?
April 9th, Your Honor.
All right, your jury trial date is going to be April 9th. You'll need to be present in the courtroom. Mr. Wright, do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And thank you for always appearing appropriately dressed on Zoom and Zoom ready. I appreciate that.
Of course, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. So we'll see you then. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Let me just find him on the docket sheet. All right, and then your next person, could I see the file on Mary Diaz? Mary Diaz. All right, so on this one, we're here for a jury trial date,
Yes, Judge.
and what date?
July 16th.
All right, so everyone is on notice. This case is going on that date.
Yes,
So
Judge.
if somebody tries to put anybody in trial elsewhere, you need to tell them, no, we're here. All right, once you sign the reset form, can I have a reset form for her? We will be here on July 16th for jury trial.
Looking forward to it.
My mom will be looking forward to seeing you as well.
I look forward to seeing her.
If there are any issues, let the court know.
Yes, Judge.
Isaac out of court.
All right, once you sign the reset form, you're excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Who's here on Troy Harris? If y'all would come forward. Court is calling 2023 CR 7445, State of Texas versus Troy Daniel Harris. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Rafael Leal for Troy, Harris.
Are you Mr. Harris?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, with regard to the discovery acknowledgement, there is more than this one page, correct?
So just at that little notation at the kind of quarter way down, I showed counsel the index. I had staff with the DA's office run up to the 5th floor real quick. We were having some technical difficulties. So I showed counsel the index, less than 1 page. And so counsel reviewed it. And so that's why we both initialed that compliance. We had complied with the discovery.
All right. Defense, have you received all the discovery that you reviewed with your client?
Yes, sir.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Harris, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented
We are, Your Honor.
on both counts?
The 2 counts of the exposure.
All right. Showing you what's entitled courts admonishments and defendants, waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand in count 1 and count 2, you're charged with indecency with the child by exposure? Both of those are 3rd-degree felonies. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand that the court would grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you to 10 years in each cause number and up to $10,000 fine in each count.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as the factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe he does, Judge.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe he is, Your Honor.
Mr. Harris, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I do.
According to the plea, state is recommending deferred adjudication. There's to be Chapter 62 compliance and registration and no contact with the complainant. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing it, you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 10 years. Did you understand that was a recommendation from the state and the court does not have to follow that recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to count one, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Count two, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
Yes, Your Honor. State offer states one in attachments.
No objection.
Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty of count 1 and count 2. The court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Okay, why should I follow this agreement?
So, Your Honor, there are multiple layers of potential issue with this case if it proceeded further. We had a chance to further review the nature of the statement that was provided by the defendant. Essentially, he admits to when the child was around the age of 2 years old, diaper changes, he found himself being aroused. And so given both the age of the complainant, I'm 2 years old, and with the memory and putting them on the stand, and also the nature of like the statements, right? So of course in the report it says, you know, admits to all these things, but if you look deeper, and we've had that opportunity to do so, you know, diaper changes, found himself being aroused. The state wants this individual to be a registered sex offender for the rest of their life, but given the complications, both with the age and with the nature of the conduct that happened, we believed in conversation with council that this was the most appropriate offer we can make.
All right, and have you all had discussions with the complainant's family?
We have,
Okay. All right.
and we, in communication with the victim's family, I think we tried to present, again, just an open account of, again, kind of the layers that we saw had this case proceeded further. So again, with lifetime sex offender registration, that would follow this individual around. We believe that was incredibly important and pertinent to, again, both the issues that were presented and the defense's kind of discussions with us in private. Your Honor. And my apologies for
Yes.
misspeaking, Your Honor, the 10-year registration.
Yes, because I was like, okay.
'Cause I'm looking at the file, Your Honor, but of course, as the exposure notes in the indictment, yes. My apologies for
No problem.
misspeaking there.
All right, I understand the complications with the case. Count 1 and count 2 are to run concurrently. I'm legally obligated to do that. It's going to be 10 years deferred adjudication. I'm going to do 90 days at the Bexar County Jail as a condition. And there will be no credit given for that. Chapter 62 compliance. There's to be no contact with the complainant. There's to be no contact with any minors. Chapter 62 registration. He's going to be on the sex offender caseload, of course. Regular reporting in person. Regular random UAs. I'm going to want GPS until further notice.
Judge, if I may, he's a resident of Washington State. And
Because Washington State is probably not going to accept him back. I'll request a transfer to Washington State, but they're probably not going to accept him back. And isn't the complainant in Washington State?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And what county is that?
That I live in Washington, Snohomish County, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what?
Snohomish County,
Spell that?
SNOH or SNOHOMISH, Snohomish.
S-O.
SNOHOMISH.
All right.
Snohomish.
Probation, you can see if they will accept him. But I'm still, he needs to be on GPS, and if Washington State is not going to put him on GPS, then I'm not going to allow transfer to Washington State. Probation, is there anything else?
Judge, is there any time limitation on the GPS?
No. And let me just tell you why there's not a time limit on GPS, because there are so many women out here in this universe who will see that he's a registered sex offender or may not even investigate that he's a registered sex offender. And then the next thing you know what I'm gonna get back? Somebody's allowing him to babysit a child who can't talk. I don't even know if there is something, if this probation will help you, Mr. Harris. I mean, it's great that you confessed and turned yourself in, but this is the type of case where you can't be around children, period. Right? Can't change their clothes. There was a case I read once where somebody told everybody, this is a person who cannot even go to the store and look at baby clothes, can't change clothes, do not let them change their diapers, do not let them around a child whatsoever. And you know what ended up happening? Some mother allows him, get married with him, have a child with him, and parole was coming to the house, and parole said, You cannot let him be around this child. You cannot let him change diapers. Cannot do any of that. Guess what ends up happening? They allowed it. And guess what ends up happening? Next thing you know, that child is on the playground, pulling down their clothes, exhibiting sexual behavior. And it's because the mom allowed somebody in who they told him couldn't be around children. So you're one of those people who cannot be around children whatsoever. And I'm dead serious about you not being around any child whatsoever. So if you have family and there's a cookout, you can't be there if there are children there. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Probation, is there anything else? Anything else from either party with regards to sentencing?
Your Honor, we have that fact statement.
All right, just one moment.
Absolutely.
Did you review trial court certification? A defendant's rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining, oh, they'll get it to you. Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. You need to follow through.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
We'll have a seat.
Your Honor, this is in front of location. This is just further.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Location as well.
All right. All right, thank you. All right. Everyone, we are going to take our 12 o'clock break and we're going to come back at 1:30.
Thank you.
You're welcome.